Sam Tuttle, the vice president of the Donner Ski Resort, has called a meeting with the lawyers from the law firm he has just retained for the purchase of a $2.5 million used ski lift. The ski lift is critical because it will replace the main lift of the ski resort, and the ski resort cannot open unless the old lift is removed and the new lift is installed and running by the start of ski season.
Hi, David. How are you today?
I'm great. And, we had a great drive up here. I don't think you've met before. My associate, who's going to be working with me on the case, she's been at the firm for 4 years. We work together all the time. Annalisa Good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Annalisa. Have you done many of these deals before?
No, but I've worked with David for the last 4 years. It's fine. We work well together.
So, boy, it's a pretty drive up here. Great to get out of the city.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about all these issues. I really wasn't focused on it, but if you say so.
Okay. Well, let me throw out an idea for an agenda. We would like to just look at the facility and walk around, but we should talk about the deal first. But for our meeting, I'd like to get a little more info on your company, your goals in this transaction. Then I'd like to review the deal in detail, what the terms are. And then the third thing I want to talk about is how we get it done. Is there a lot of people involved? There are a lot of pieces of paper and things that need to be done, and we want to talk about who's going to do what, when, and how. And finally, I'd like just to talk about next steps, and we can take your questions then, or if during the process you have a question, just let us know. But does that sound like a good agenda?
Yeah, that sounds fine, especially the questions part.
Well, we're here to answer questions. So I just want to confirm, when we talked originally and met, and in the retainer agreement, we're representing Donner Enterprises, which is your holding company that owns basically all the entities at the Donner Ski Resort.
That's right, Donner Enterprises, Inc. That's the client, I suppose, and we own the other companies, Donner Realty, which leases the land, and Donner Ski Ranch, which runs the ski resort.
Great, great. And you reviewed with me your plan basically to try to upgrade and modernize the Donner resorts for the next decades by upgrading your facilities, developing the real estate, and sounded good to me. But I'm wondering if there's anything else you want me to know about that in terms of what we're doing with this ski lift purchase.
Right. Well, the ski lift is the first big step in this long process, and it's absolutely critical. Our ski season starts around Thanksgiving and goes through April. We've got to get that old ski lift out of there and the new ski lift installed and ready to go between April and the following ski season in November. Now, when I first thought of this, it seemed like a long time, simple matter, but now it seems like there's so many issues with that, permits and lines of credit, that it's just got my head spinning.
Okay.
So I'm worried if we don't get that ski lift installed before Thanksgiving, make sure it works, and operating, we won't have a ski season. That's our main ski lift.
Well, I've got the message, and we'll work with you. Obviously, your team will do the operational items, and we'll be doing the legal work, which will be done way in advance. But I think in the term sheet, you structured some mechanisms, and we'll work those into the contract that will give you more assurance that we can just get this done. So maybe we should just sort of dive into the details, and then work after we make sure we've got all the points of the deal. Then we'll just talk about that implementation schedule, and probably one of the things we want to do either at this meeting or in the next day or two is probably we want to construct a timeline and what needs to get done in what order, and what the time frames are to make sure it works.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan.
So let's just start with the purchase. Is Enterprise, is the holding company or the operating company going to be the purchaser of the ski lift, or are you going to use a new entity?
Well, I think we're going to use Donner Ski Ranch as the technical purchaser of the lift. I think that's what did you get the term sheet, or I'm not sure if I gave that to you. Yeah, I think it's going to be Donner Ski Ranch because they operate the lift and they're going to be the official purchaser.
So
I mean, you think that's a good idea, or?
Well, it seems like a logical idea. You know, when we go through all this, if we think it should be changed, we'll let you know right away. But that does make sense. Very few companies want to do a transaction like this with the holding company involved. So, you know, that probably makes the most sense. And let's go over the business terms. So, as I understand it, the purchase price is $2.5 million.
That's right, $2.5 million.
And you're putting down for a deposit $500,000.
$500K.
Yeah.
That's right.
And there's no financing vis-a-vis the seller. There's no financing contingency. You're just going to use available funds.
You know, that's one thing I don't understand. We're paying with cash,
Yes.
right, on hand.
Yes.
And the bank's somehow getting involved, and it seems like it's none of their concern. I really don't understand that aspect. I mean, that's one complication that arose that, frankly, I don't really understand.
Well, I was told that your accountant had checked with the bank and they didn't have an issue, but generally you have a line of credit with the bank, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So part of your line of credit, you have covenants, and they loan you this money when you want it and need it on the line, and they're sort of keeping watch on you that you're financially stable. And so when you take this big piece of cash and buy the new ski lift, your accountant, and we can help him, wants to make sure the bank isn't going to complain and say, well, we thought they were keeping more cash, or this violates a particular covenant. Based on what we've heard from your accountant, it doesn't sound like a problem, but that's the type of thing you want to pin down in advance so you don't have a problem at the last minute. And you know, maybe it would make sense for us to speak with your accountant. Who's your accountant?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. We just hired a new accountant. Kind of blanking on the name, but oh yeah, it's Sam Sneed.
Sam Sneed.
Sam. Yeah, Sam Sneed.
And
but you know, you're telling me that we pay cash for this and we're all good to go, and then when it comes time to take out a loan to buy some cocoa or supplies, that they're going to not give us the credit we need? Is that what's going to happen?
Well,
you can't have that happen.
Okay, well, that's something we ought to look into and find out what the bank's attitude is,
Right.
and your relationship. You know, if you've been having problems with the bank or you have a good relationship, generally banks like it when people buy new things and make their property more valuable. Again,
It's a bank.
yeah,
Yeah,
they make money by lending money.
You talk to the accountant, you tell them it's none of their damn business.
Okay,
All right?
we'll work that through for you.
Right.
So now I also understand the way the deal is going to be structured is we're going to have a 60-day due diligence period.
I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I want to make sure the thing works. If that takes 60 days, it takes 60 days. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so as we understand it, you've hired Mad River Lifts, and they're an expert in ski lift construction, removal, and all that. And
That's what they say.
And they're doing a feasibility report for you, and you're supposed to have that report in 2 weeks.
I hope so.
So
That's what they say. They say they're experts. You heard of them before?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, they're well known. So the idea of the due diligence period, which you did put in your term sheet, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Is
There was a lot going on that day. Was this
the
it here?
idea is yes.
Okay.
The idea is
All right.
is basically you have 60 days to kick the tires. That's the way to look at it.
After it's installed or before? Or?
No, from the day we signed the agreement on February 25th.
All right.
So the idea being is that you, in the 60-day period, Mad River lifts, and whoever you want looks at the situation. Can we take down the old lift? How long will that take? Can we install this new lift? Is the new lift feasible? And so when you get their feasibility report and review it with your operations people, then within the 60 days you say, okay, it looks good, we give it a go. If Mad River Lifts or other people tell you that this lift won't work for you, then...
What if they tell us it works for us, we sign the contract, the 60 days passes, we get it installed, and they're wrong? Or the lift doesn't work?
Well,
who's going to pay for that? Mad River or
well,
the other side? Or?
Depending on Mad River, depending on your contract with Mad River. Do you have an agreement with Mad River?
Geez, you know, I had some talks with them over the phone. You know,
They probably, you know, I know these consulting agreements. They usually, like we do, send you an agreement, want some money up front.
They sent us a small print, some kind of form. I took a look at it. Maybe I should see if I still have that.
Yeah, I think you'll want to send that to us.
My assistant might have it. It's in my email.
Okay, and who's your contact at Mad River?
Mad River, the contact is George Foreman.
George Foreman.
George Foreman. Yeah.
Okay.
He's the CEO.
Yeah, he's a heavy.
George.
He's a heavyweight. No, I've never met him.
He's he's a good guy.
Okay.
But, yeah, he sent me a form. I didn't have time to read it because I was organizing the annual kitty slope run party.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll see if I have it.
So, but the way the deal will work is once the 60 days is gone, you can't get out of the deal unless Heavenly doesn't perform. So in a sense, your deposit, we'd say in the business, goes hard then. You know, it's like when you're buying a house, you have a point. And so that's why the 60-day period. Now the other thing is in the due diligence period, under the term sheet, you have the right to have people go on the property of Heavenly, you know, basically to look at the lift. I mean, they've given us a specification and some nice pictures, but your people really need, with Mad River, to go on the property, look at the lift, see it operate, work, you know, inspect it.
Okay, I get to go on their property.
Yeah, that's what the agreement. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean, you'll have
that,
to coordinate with them. They probably don't want to shut down on a weekend to have you look at it.
Yeah, right.
But that's something your operations people are going to probably want to do, and you'll probably want to arrange access for Mad River.
Okay, all right.
And that's something. Yeah. Who sort of runs your operations on this?
Oh, runs the operations.
You know, who would be your technical person or your operations person who would, you know, literally supervise the work? Excuse me, I have allergies.
Oh,
you won't get sick.
All right. Yeah, our operations manager is Bill Bryson.
Okay, so you're going to get, you get him together. Now the term sheet also has a working group that you put in there. And the idea of the working group was that some people from Heavenly and some people from your business and probably Mad River and whoever they're using as a consultant would meet. Now, usually lawyers don't go to that, but those are the people who actually, you know, work on the logistics together. Do you know whether this working group has been assembled or met?
I don't think so.
But I think that'd be a good thing to get going on right away.
Okay.
Because that's the most efficient way to have an operations person talk to an operations person, the consultants talk to each other, and that's the way you can really get the data and the feel of how this lift works.
Okay. Are they going? This makes me a little nervous because are they going to be asking me questions about our operations? Do they know that? I mean, I don't want them to find out. You know, they're a competitor. Heavenly's a competitor.
It's really a kind of, the way the deal is structured, it's really a kind of one-way street. If you show up with the money, they'll give you the lift.
Okay.
And as long as it's money, they don't really care what you do with the lift. They don't care whether you can install it or yada, yada, yada. You can resell it for all they care. You care a lot about this lift because it's got to work.
That's right.
And so they're going to be a little cautious, as they should, about letting you see these things. But in the term sheet, it does say we have a right of inspection. So you negotiated that very well, to have that right of inspection. And really, if we let the managers work on this, and the operational people, they talk to each other and they talk their own lingo, and you know, your guy watches it work and he gets comfortable that he can work it. That brings me to another question. Doppelmayr. In the term sheet it says that it's under a warranty that's extended as long as Doppelmayr provides a service. And under the terms of the deal, you have the right to the assignment of that.
That's good.
That's really good. Because Doppelmayr's, as you know, a big name in the ski lift industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Do they need to sign the agreement too, or are they?
Well, we're going to need we're going to have to confirm. That's another thing we want to do in the due diligence. Okay. We want to make sure in the due diligence that that warranty is in effect, and that it can be assigned to you, and that it carries with it the service. You know, I don't think American Ski Company is a big company, but sometimes, you know, maybe they terminated the agreement because they didn't pay. So that's another thing we have to check on in due diligence. Do you have a copy of the service agreement or the warranty?
Service agreement, warranty. There's the term sheet. Let's see. You got this. I sent you an email. Did you get the email?
Yeah, I got your email.
Okay. Gosh, I don't think I have that here.
Okay.
Did you get that? You don't have that, Annalisa, do you? No?
No.
You wouldn't have that. Oh, I don't know who that.
Okay.
I must have it. I'm sure I've got
Well,
it.
they may not have given it to you.
I'll tell you.
But
yeah, okay.
But that's something that I can ask their lawyer for, or you can ask the people at Heavenly for, because that's part of the due diligence.
Okay.
So if you think of the due diligence, we want to make sure they own the lift and can sell it to us. You want to have your operations people and your consultants make sure it runs and it's suitable. And then we want to make sure that the legal things are taken care of and there are no legal issues. And really, we should really work to do almost the whole deal by the end of the due diligence, because at the closing, it should be all taken care of. There shouldn't be any surprises.
That sounds good.
Okay. Let me ask another question. You've got this escrow agent, Astor Associates, who's going to hold the money.
That's right.
How did you pick them?
Well, my dad, you know,
Yeah.
who ran the company previously, he used them previously, and I guess I don't really know any other escrow agents.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah.
We've never used them, but they have a good
Is there
reputation.
going to be there's no problem with that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Do you have an agreement with them yet? Probably not.
Maybe that's something you could look into.
Yeah. No,
Send me an email about that.
Well, we'll make sure the escrow agreement protects you.
Okay.
Because if you cancel during the due diligence, you get your money back. Or if Heavenly doesn't perform, they don't get to keep your deposit. But we want to make sure they perform. Okay, let's see if I have other questions. Now, I did find the provisions in the term sheet. You have liquidated damages of $10,000 a day, actual damages, and a $500,000 fee if either party doesn't perform. What was your thinking, or what did those provisions, how did those come about?
Well, my dad had a deal that went bad about 10 years ago, and we got we got sued and they countersued us, and we spent a lot of time in court and a lot of attorney's fees, not even litigating who was at fault, but how much money were the damages. And we thought, let's get that, nothing's going to go wrong, right? Absolutely nothing can go wrong with this deal. You understand that, right? But if it does go wrong, I don't want to spend all this money on experts and lawyers to figure out who owes who what. Okay? So that's why I thought, let's just settle that from the beginning.
Well, we'll put those provisions in. As you know, the legal proceedings are costly and slow.
Right.
And the idea of doing the deal is to avoid litigation. And that's why we want to spend the time to check things out in advance, most particularly in the due diligence period. And we understand why that's so important to you, because once you start taking down the old lift, let me ask you another question. A lot of, we were told that the land where you're going to be erecting this lease is owned by the Park Service.
Oh, yeah, another complication. Yeah.
So do you have a copy of that lease?
I'm sure I do. Yeah, I'm sure I do.
So
but not on my person.
Okay.
You understand?
Well,
right?
so what we want to do is we want to look over that lease, make sure that the Park Service can't start objecting if we take down one lift or the other lift, and we want to look at the legal status of all that. One other complication is we have local governments that regulate construction and building.
Oh yeah, I could go on and on about that.
But we were told that Mad River Lifts, as part of their services, generally gets the permits and works with the local people.
Okay.
And we're, that's okay with us. We don't, everybody does everything, but we want to be clear that that is what you want, that you want Mad River Lifts doing that, and that will not be one of our responsibilities.
Okay, yeah.
Or if you want us to work with Mad River Lifts, we can. But the one thing I want to come away from this with, I think, from this meeting is, one, is a timeline.
Yeah.
And two, with all these pieces floating out, we need a list of who's responsible for what, so that we get everything covered.
Yeah, that sounds good. Foreman's the guy to go to for Mad River.
Okay.
If you want to contact there, you got to talk to Foreman.
Okay. So I think we have the main parties. Let's talk about timelines. So we're going to sign this thing on February 25th.
Okay.
So then the due diligence period will be March, April 25th. So that's the 60 days where we will check everything out, and you'll make a decision whether you want to go. Next step on the timeline is the closing, which I believe on the term sheet is about, May 1st? And then after the closing, there's an assembly, and then there's a removal period. And that'll probably take us till maybe May 20th.
Okay.
Now, you'll have from May 20th, let's assume the lift arrives by May 31st.
Okay.
You'll have June, July, August, September, and October to assemble and get any permits that the local authorities think you need.
Okay, right.
And maybe we could be working that up, but that's a rough timeline of the way I see this project working.
So these are all dominoes, right? I mean, it's critical. We got to close on April 25th, right? Or May.
May.
If that gets delayed, the next part gets delayed, the next part gets delayed. Next thing you know, it's snowing and we don't have our ski lift, right?
Okay.
So it all hinges on you guys getting these contracts, right, ready.
Well,
of time.
the contracts will do. You don't have to worry. We will get our part done. And I think Mad River Lifts has said that it takes maybe 2 to 4 weeks to assemble. So it may be that you focused on the money issue here. So, but it looks to me like you have time if things work well.
Okay.
But to me, the key parts are the due diligence, the closing, and the pickup, and then really getting going on the assembly. Basically, the whole
Yeah.
process is key.
So that's, when do we sign the papers?
The papers are signed February 25th.
February 25th.
We basically have a month to get the deal together.
Gosh, let me check my calendar because, you know what? I got it. Jeez, I'm supposed to be in Switzerland that whole end of the month. Every year, my buddies and I, we go on a skis trip over there in Switzerland in the Alps. Yeah, is that something I should maybe try to cancel?
Well, we should talk about that.
Okay.
Maybe we push it up, push it back a little
All
bit.
right.
So that's to me a rough timeline. Let's talk about responsibilities.
Yes.
And so in terms of responsibilities, we will draft the purchase agreement and related documents. 2, Mad River will handle the inspection, removal, transit, and erection, and any local permits. Your accountant, with our assistance, will deal with the bank, and that might be just nothing, I mean, or that, you could do that as well. We will review the lease with the Park Service.
Okay, that sounds good. And who's going to coordinate all of it?
Well,
Because I told you I got this ski trip, and I'm a little busy.
Well, I think you'll have the working committee will handle what I call the logistics, what's happening on the ground, and we can coordinate the legal and the paperwork. And who should we be in touch with at your operation? Who's the main contact? It'd be you, right?
Yeah. I'd like you to talk to me first, and
Okay.
if I got to ask somebody a question,
Okay.
I'll
You can direct us or
direct you to
get the
right
information.
person. Yeah.
Okay.
But I need to know what's going on, so
Okay.
don't just
Now,
call anybody.
in terms of communication, how do you like to get communication? Do you like email? Do you like fax? Do you like overnights? And I'm also concerned about confidentiality.
Yeah, well, I like to speak in person if we can. If that doesn't work, I talk on the phone. If that doesn't work, send me an email.
Okay.
Okay?
And I work very closely with Annalisa, and she'll be doing a lot of the legwork because she has a lower billing rate, but I'm in charge of the project. And you have a question, you have a concern, you have an issue, you can ask Annalisa anything you want, but you can ask me everything.
Okay.
And if you're not happy or something isn't going your way, the sooner I know about it, the sooner I fix it. And she and I talk every day.
Okay, well, I'm sure Annalisa's very bright. And which law school did you say you went to?
Chapman.
Okay, well, that's fine then. I got no problem with Annalisa. Just maybe shoot me over your resume if you get a chance. I mean, it's no...
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you have any other deals or agreements that you maybe haven't mentioned to me in our discussion with,
Oh,
or
yeah.
that aren't in the papers?
Yes, I remember now. I told you I was worried about these confidential, them finding out about our operations, how critical this is to us, how we're, spending all our cash on it. So we did have an agreement not to disclose any information to anybody else.
Oh, that's a very good idea. Do you have
Yeah.
a copy of that?
Let's see, is that it? No, that's my tea time. Let's see, where is it? There it is.
Oh, thanks. We'll make a copy and give you the original back.
Okay.
So, in terms of next steps, we need copies of your, we'll send you this in an email. We need copies of your lease. We need any correspondence you have with Donner.
Okay.
We need copies of any agreement or correspondence you have with Mad River. We need copies of any communications with the bank. Probably there aren't any, but maybe a copy of your bank loan documents so we can make sure the bank can't hold us up.
Okay.
And what else do we need here? Anything with Astor Associates, the escrow agent. And I think that's about it. Do you have any other questions?
You know, I had a few questions, but I do have another appointment after this. Maybe I could send you an email.
Oh, that'd be great.
But one thing I do want to talk about
Yes.
is the cost, right?
Yes.
How much is this going to cost
Well, we have
in legal fees?
Right. It's hard to know because sometimes you find problems and it costs more money. Sometimes, you call the bank and they say, no problem.
Right.
And that doesn't cost much anything.
Right, and more problems you find, the more money you make, I suppose.
Well, the more money we save you because the problems get solved.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it.
If you could maybe send me just an estimate, some kind of budget.
I'll send you a budget.
Yeah, I think I got this next appointment, but
Okay.
maybe about an hour or two, something like that. You could send me.
Oh, I'll get it to you soon.
Okay, wonderful. And you guys don't represent any of the other ski resorts, right?
Yeah, we've talked to,
Okay,
you
all right.
asked us that question when we met originally.
That's right, okay.
And nothing has changed.
Okay.
And as I'll tell you, if we start representing one of your competitors, even if it isn't a conflict,
Yeah.
we'll let you know.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I think I got to go.
Okay.
But it was great to meet you, and great to see you. And David,
We look forward to working with you.
I look forward to it. I'm relying on you.
Thank you.